A concept aims to make an idea as clear as possible. Words are created to express, as precisely as possible, the meaning of things. From the beginning, beings have used some form of communication. The human race, through the language it created, defined words, whose meaning is as close as possible to the understanding of the essence of things. The problem began with the realization that propaganda empowers concepts, and consequently, their agents. It seems, therefore, that propaganda has always existed. Assigning adjectives to figures became part of the nature of the human race. To ensure the greatest power to ordinary figures throughout history, the most beautiful and robust adjectives have been sought and attributed, capable of ensuring idolatry toward the figures placed as leaders or chiefs of certain groups, so that their dominion would not be challenged. Divinity is the highest title that can be given to a being, to make it the most powerful, mythical, and unquestionable. The case of Christianity is a perfect example, revealing the human race's need to overvalue and perpetuate legends and myths. It is observed that the formation of Christianity does not differ from that of any other religion or mythology, since every religion is born from the creation of a myth, corroborated by a mythological narrative. Upon this narrative, the most suitable adjectives are added, which gradually intensify and modify the quality of the created myth. To endure the impossibility of rational explanations, the concept of faith is established as fundamental. To this concept are added divine promises that ensure the loyalty of the convinced. Being Christian, for example, is not about following something or someone. That is, every being is a Messiah, a missionary, or a Christ. This adjective, however, was attributed to a particular human being to guarantee the spread of the idea of the existence of a single anointed one and a single Christ, thus creating a myth. New adjectives were incorporated to strengthen the narrative, such as Savior, and, as in every narrated story, God. A figure was then associated, first with the idea of specialty, then of a special envoy, then of one anointed by divinity, and finally, of being not only the divinity itself, but also the only divinity. Christianity represents the ultimate limit that the human race has reached in the concrete construction of the idea of a divine man. All mythologies have always used, and will continue to use, the same propaganda about their myths, but none has been as successful as the builders and perpetuators of the Christian narrative. Never has there been such efficiency and skill in the use of available communication tools and in indoctrination to impose fear and slavery with the aim of attracting and perpetuating followers of a doctrine. Philosophy itself was brilliantly challenged through the adoption of a new philosophy, founded and justified by faith. Philosophy, then, still perceives the fragility of its foundations when historically confronted by the behavior of its own thinkers. An idea exists only within a specific time and space, and does not seem to be universal. The ideas created by these figures contrast with the behavior of their own creators. Students of philosophy often focus on a specific part of philosophical thought. On this fragment of thought, new adjectives are attributed, with the intention of reinforcing an individual understanding and associating it with the author of the original thought. Students of philosophy tend to explain philosophy to those who seem not to understand it. Christian philosophy, based on faith, is not born from confrontation, but appropriates the philosophical tools available. This purity, however, is stained by the need to prevent the risk of destruction of dogmas, which could arise from its own reflections. Men are assigned adjectives, titles, classifications, and concepts, reaching the absurd concepts of saints and demons. Being Christian, ultimately, is nothing more than being a being in manifestation, whatever it may be. This is the correct concept, which could not be associated with only one figure or one group. The greatest problem will always lie in the refinement of concepts that underpin the creation of religions, which are the result of the theft of ideas that simply seem not to have been well understood. The author of this mythology and this myth was very clear in his intent. However, the information transmitted was so rich that it risked being stolen and misinterpreted. This richness has not been lost, and remains alive, even though it has been hidden by the corruption of patristics. Those who relearn to read the originals will see it with complete clarity. This richness is available to everyone, for a Christian is not a Christian by following a Christ, but by being a Christ.